Good day. Welcome to another walk with Mark and Stella here on a freakishly warm February morning. It's overcast and humid and crappy and there's like salt everywhere and still some melting piles of snow. It's awful. But a good day to take a walk. A lot of people ask where these walking videos have gone. And I've still been walking, but last couple I made ended up enraging some patrons who left me nasty messages, and frankly I just lost patience. I don't have patience for it anymore. So the Patreon model is really annoying because everybody seems to have different expectations, and the fact that I talked about things that weren't video games apparently was right out. And you know, okay. So anyway, we are on the verge of the show's the biggest change in the show's history since 2008. 2008, 10 years ago, like right now, in February 2008, I decided to, after a bunch of experimentation and like fooling with different video formats and whatnot, decided to make a new Classic Game Room show, which became Classic Game Room HD. So the earlier reviews were like Zaxxon was the first one. I made a whole bunch at once. I remember I had my Atari out in the basement and just produced a whole bunch of game reviews. Like Crystal Castles, Tapper was an early one. You know, and at that time, I was coming out of the documentary business, which was a far more serious business. And I felt like I was a far more serious person who couldn't just goof around on the microphone, and this whole video game review thing hadn't really even started on YouTube. I mean, there were a couple, like Angry Video Game Nerd had gained some popularity back then. So there was stuff like that, but not a whole lot. So, yeah, show came out February and grew like a bat out of hell for about 2 or 3 years. It was great. Good time. You know, things. And then from there, the show's gone through various ups and downs, as you would expect. Mostly downs, since about 2013. A couple ups. End of 2015, you know, like I've said in various commentaries and whatnot, the original investors all pulled out. I picked up the company, what was left of it. Took a chance with Patreon, which worked out really well, but like I just said earlier in the podcast, or in this walk, the thing with Patreon is everybody seems to have different expectations, which as a creator just makes it insane. You know, some people are just happy with anything, some people are very specific with what they want. I really don't like this model at all, to be honest. So I'd much rather do what I'm about to do, which is I make a product, you either buy it or you don't. No more fucking comment fields. No more social media bullshit and drama. The distraction is just insufferable. I can't stand it. So, I love that. I'm just freeing. I love to use this quote from Platoon when I'm just talking to myself. Free your mind and your ass will follow. For all I know, that was a quote from someone else. But, that guy's name was a Bunny. He's like, yeah, man, I can dig it. And the Indy 500 quote's one of the greatest quotes of all time in any movie. Easily distracted. Freeing my mind from the established YouTube model at this point has just been tremendously fun. And you'll see why in a few weeks when Classic Game Room 2085 launches on Patreon and Amazon, but not YouTube. And the reason for that, I'm documenting all this for a book at the end of the year, of course, because I'm a horrible person. I save all my information and write down things daily in my secret diary of unicorns. The reason it's not going to YouTube is because it costs a fortune. I've just probably made increased the budget times 10, and if it goes to YouTube, it's going to get stolen. nobody's going to watch it. So I'm eliminating it. And that's that. Yeah, actually, I have a lot of stuff I could talk about. So, right, dog? Yeah. I bet you're happy. Look at all these clouds and stuff. Anyway, after I announced this publicly, I figured this was going to raise a few eyebrows and generate some backlash, because people love YouTube. It's free. And it works for viewers, it works great. It is horrible for content creators. It's terrible. Depending on how you use it. Using YouTube in the manner that I've been using it is wrong. You know, what I've been trying to do is to create actual content. That doesn't work anymore. What you have to do is you have to engineer clickbait that works in the YouTube algorithm. This is not just me being cynical, this has been pretty well documented by now. The flattening of the internet effect, which I tweeted an article about this a couple weeks ago. Woo! A couple days ago. Love the tunnel. The flattening of the internet means that nobody goes to websites anymore. Everyone's just using YouTube and Facebook for everything. So, you know, like 20 years of like search rankings on the internet are irrelevant now. It's all about getting the click on YouTube and Facebook, and there's only so much space on YouTube and Facebook, so you have to engineer clickbait. Like, you won't believe what happens next. Top 10. There's a reason people watch this stuff. What's fascinating about it is that what people say they want to watch and what they watch are two totally different things. And then they get very bitter if they think you're taking advantage of the system. Well, you have to take advantage of the system or nobody watches your content. So it's like a catch-22. And then out of this whole mess, like one or two people become Logan Paul or PewDiePie. So an entire generation of kids is not making content that's good content, they're making content to get attention. So if you're like, you know, this old school video producer like me, you're just caught in the middle of this grinder. And the only way out is out. Or you can engineer clickbait. And so I don't feel too bad about my decision at all. This has been coming for a while. It took me a little longer than expected to pull the trigger. I've been so busy with the publishing stuff on the books, which have done really well. I just haven't had as much time to really sit down and think about like how, because the show has needed to change for at least a year or so, probably longer. But I couldn't do it until now. Now I'm ready to take the chance, to take the plunge. I feel pretty good about it. At no point have I ever said that I signed a lifetime exclusivity deal with YouTube. Most people won't do what I'm doing because they either can't or because they're doing YouTube for attention. Classic Game Room is fun, but it's also a business. And producer Mark has to make the hard call here, which I know sucks for a lot of you outside the US, and I feel bad about that. I don't think it's going to be a permanent problem, but it is a problem right now. So the best I can do is to continue posting on Patreon within YouTube unless people steal the links. So they're probably not going to be up there for very long. And then I may have to get aggressive with a couple other things I don't want to deal with after that. You know, I love hockey, but I don't love it so much that I'll pay for cable to watch it. I understand this mentality a little bit. I think I do. $2 a month on Patreon is not expensive, but it's annoying. I mean, who's Patreon? People don't want to pay them. You probably don't want to pay them. I would just assume not use them. But there's really no other options until the entire self-publishing business here either self-eliminates itself, which is the direction it's heading, or changes. So, since self-elimination is not an option, I'm doing something very ambitious, probably pretty risky, but moving to the model where you either have to pay for it or have Amazon Prime. That's just the way it is. The free model's gone, unless you're engineering clickbait, which I just don't want to do, and you don't want me doing it either. So, in the end, you're going to get a better product. Pretty excited about that. I have the first show, and these are shows now. It's 45 minutes of full show, packed, edited. Actually, I love it. It's a lot of fun to make. Instead of just rushing videos through to YouTube because they get 7,000 hits and end up losing 2 or 3 patrons for each release. It's just a terrible model. It's not a long-term solution. Anyone who thinks YouTube and Patreon's a long-term solution has their head in the clouds. So rather than just rushing videos out, I just said, you know what? I'm going to go all out and do it the way it probably should have been done for a while. Were I able to do it like that? The show's huge. I got the next 3 studio segments shot. Second show is on Fast RMX on the Switch, and a competitive review Vectrex versus Switch. So each show covers more than just one thing. Plus there's a good Q&A in there and just some other stuff. The second show is all on the Atari Lynx. So there's an Atari Lynx collector's review guide in there, in addition to a review of Zarlor Mercenary. I did a rough edit on that yesterday, as well as the 4th show, which is on the Super NT from Analog, the HDMI Super Nintendo. And there's a lot of Super Nintendo stuff in that, as you might imagine. So, that's the first 4. After that, working on a ton of games. 2 Fire Emblem games, a bunch of Sega Genesis stuff, Fantasy Zone for the Saturn. Yeah, I think the 5th show is going to be on some Atari things that Eric from Pasadena sent to the show. Thank you, Eric. And Granada for the Genesis. It's a great game. The 6th one might be on Fantasy Zone, which I wanted to play because it's going into Ultramassive 3, and you know, may as well make a review on it. And I'm going to cover some Saturn stuff on that show, as well. And from there, not sure of the order, but got Tekken Tag 2 for the Wii U, recorded Super Mario 3D World for the Wii U, recorded, played a bunch of Wii U stuff because Wii U is also in Ultramassive 3. So I went to the library and just took out a whole bunch of these games and played them. Recorded footage, wrote about them, making shows on them. Some big changes. The YouTube channel continues to run, but I'm just using it for experimental stuff. My experience is marketing on YouTube isn't quite as effective as I thought it once was, since I've gotten a better idea on where my sales come from. This free content thing is a mess. It's not going to last forever. I'm probably 3 years ahead of everyone else on this, is my guess. Maybe 5. We'll see. So, I guess in conclusion here, it's been a little more than I meant to talk about. In conclusion, there's an ocean separating people creating content on YouTube who do it professionally, and people who do it casually. Because if you've been doing it professionally for a while, hits matter. Which means you have to engineer content that gets hits. or live and breathe on social media. So, you know, you're looking like a 20-hour-a-day job. If you want to try to, you know, just keep ahead of everything. And then you have casual creators or people starting out that can do whatever they want. They're not making anything. And from the viewer perspective, you have no idea what's what. You're just watching content. Behind the scenes, though, it's a mess. Yes, I'm excited. I'm very excited about releasing a new show on Amazon. That's a big, full-fledged show. A big budget show. And I'm really pleased with the first couple episodes. I will let you know as soon as I know the definitive release date. Not like YouTube. This is a very different model. Everything about this is totally different. So you can't just upload something and set it free. A little more complicated than that. But from my experience on this will be happening, and soon. Later today, I'm going to be playing some more Fantasy Zone. I'm actually going to be playing a little bit of Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3, because it's also going in Ultramassive 3 as a recommended game. But I want to spend some more time with it to write about it, and also capture footage for an upcoming video on that. Dynasty Warriors. I also have Dynasty Warriors Orochi Hyper for the Wii U, and Bayonetta 2 also for the Wii U. Yeah. So thank you. I think that you'll enjoy this. I know a lot of you have wanted the show to get bigger for a while. It has finally happened. Finally. I've wanted it to. So, alright. See you soon. Starting to sweat now. It's humid out here.